throughout most of his career, we're used to seeing Tom Brady shine when the lights are the brightest, but he certainly struggled in prime time. He did again last night in the loss to the Rams. He's 1-3 in primetime games this season. And it's not always about the quarterback, but it feels like when it's Tom Brady, it's either really good or really bad. And last night he struggled against the Rams' pressure. He had 2 costly interceptions, including one to close out the game in the fourth quarter. We overreact to every game. We do it for everybody. But in particular, when it's marquee players, marquee quarterbacks, coaches, and last night, watching Tom Brady struggle with the deep ball, you have to have some questions here about how good is this team, who they've beaten and who they've lost to, because they do not beat really good teams. They blew out Green Bay, and we had it all figured out, right? And then they get blown out, and then we don't have them figured out. And then here they are at 7-4. The Rams were a better team last night. Rams didn't run the ball, but they were a better all-around team. You don't make mistakes. They put some pressure on Brady. Brady is still getting used to Antonio Brown. I think he's trying to force the ball a little bit too much to his other wide receivers. It feels like Brady wants the home run ball. And I was looking at some stats here because I thought maybe Brady just can't throw the deep ball. Let's go all the way back to 2019. Brady was the NFL's 4th best quarterback at throwing the deep ball. Now, it's strange to see it because Bruce Arians loves the deep ball. Brady didn't really get the opportunity or have the weapons in New England to throw the deep ball on a consistent basis, but he's got Mike Evans there. And it feels like you're just screaming for Mike Evans to get the ball more, but it felt like Brady was trying to get the ball to him more. Antonio Brown is where I'd want to go. I would just get him the ball in space and let him do something there. It feels like they're getting away from what they do really well. I would run the football, and I would have a lot of these shorter passes there. And then you may take a home run shot there. But Brady, in 15 or more yards downfield on his attempts last night, was 1 for 10 with 18 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. That's alarming because at some point, Brady is not going to be able to make those throws. I don't know if that means now. He could come back. They got a game against Kansas City. He could throw 4 touchdowns. But the inconsistency is what's going to hurt them eventually. You have to be able to win when you're not playing well. And it doesn't feel like Tampa's able to do that. Here's Brady after last night's loss and the final interception.
Yeah, it's just a bad read. And, Cam was running up the seam, and just at the last second, saw the safety coming over and just, popped it over Cam's head. So just a bad read, bad throw, decision, everything.
The Buccaneers' longest offensive play was an 18-yard completion to Mike Evans. Now, he had some drops. Running backs, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones had some drops. But still, Brady, when he gets pressured, as most quarterbacks will do, looks more human. And you saw that last night. I've slept on the Rams, it feels like, since the start of the season, prior to the start of the season. And the reason is, I think we go back to the Super Bowl and you say, you know what? They fooled us back then. They got to the Super Bowl, but they scored 3 points. That's not fair to the Rams, but it feels like we all abandoned ship. Sean McVay, the genius, maybe not. Jared Goff, taking the next step, maybe not. All I know is they have Aaron Donald. And I thought that they had a pretty good running game. They did not last night. They had 51 pass attempts. They had 37 rushing yards. The Buccaneers had 48 pass attempts, 42 rushing yards. But Cooper Kupp looked great last night, and that's a huge win for the Rams because it is really crowded in the NFC West. I don't know what the Niners are going to do the rest of the season. I don't know how healthy they can get. Feels like they might be in a spoiler role there. Arizona, we know, is dangerous. Rams, going to be competitive. And then you have Seattle. And Seattle is getting a little bit more of a defense here. NFC West is the most competitive division we have in football right now. Yes, McLovin.
We're being so week to week on Brady. He had 46 against the Panthers last week. That's a decent team. They almost beat the Chiefs. It's not a terrible team.
It's not a good team.
They took the Chiefs to the last drive of the game in KC. And that's a Chiefs team that everyone thinks is going to blow the doors off the Bucs. Who knows?
Do you feel confident that you know what you're going to get with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
In the daytime, yes. I
The
don't.
Super Bowl is played at night, just to let you know, McLevin.
Yeah, but no, I don't think that they're the best team, but they're not as bad as everyone's like, Brady is toast. I feel like he's going to have some more good games, right? A couple big ones.
Yeah, but my problem is they're not beating good teams. Each of the Buccaneers' losses was versus NFC teams who have a record of 500 or better. They're not beating the teams they're going to be facing in the playoffs, or one of these teams they're going to face in the playoffs. They're not beating good teams, and that's their 4 losses. That's what's concerning. I want to know, how good are you? Who did you beat? Where did you beat them? How did you beat them? The Green Bay game was unbelievable, what they did after being down 10-0. I just don't know what they have week in and week out. It feels like what Brady's philosophy should be or game plan is different than what Bruce Arians' philosophy or game plan should be. But if you look at every team in the NFC right now, everybody has a big question mark with them. Seattle, did they solve their defense? If they did, look out. But it felt like Russell Wilson was forcing the ball, the 3 previous weeks. Packers are up and down. Lost to the Colts. Not quite sure what you have with them. The Saints quarterbacking situation there. Jared Goff, can he be consistent? You're going to be throwing the ball 45, 50 times. NFC East is not any good. So you have question marks there. It's wide open for somebody to take this. I'm just surprised. It feels like Tampa's game plan, week in and week out, I'm not quite sure who they are. And the Rams are a good defense. I take nothing away from that performance last night, but this is Brady, Tampa, in Tampa. The Rams, I think this is the, 5th time in the last 8 games that they've gone to an Eastern time zone? And that to me is a game that Tampa has to win. Has to win. Yeah, McLevin.
Can we do a revisionist poll question? Where should Tom Brady have gone? And if hypothetically,
oh my gosh,
if the Colts, the Titans, and the Niners, the teams that they were rumored for him, were all on the table, and Tampa Bay, I feel like a month ago we're like, he made a brilliant choice. They got Levante David, and now we're like, oh, he picked the wrong place.
No, I think that he went to the right place. He wanted to have fun. He had weapons. I don't think the offensive line is great. I think it just has to be good enough. You got Gronk there, Antonio Brown. I mean, Brady's gotten everything he wants. Gronk is there. Antonio Brown is there. He got weapons. He's having fun. Got out of New England. I mean, I don't feel sorry for him. I'm just curious what the philosophy is week to week. Like, what do they do against Kansas City? Are they going to get in a shootout with Kansas City? Are they going to try to run the ball against Kansas City? Yeah, McLevin.
Did you say, I forgot, the Bears, right? That was
that was the surprise team that nobody knew about.
Would that be one that would have been a better option for his style?
No.
That's not a good option for anybody's style.
No.
Maybe he's got to hand the ball off more.
No. Let's not be silly. They got Kansas City coming up, then a bye week. They got Minnesota, Atlanta, Detroit, and Atlanta. All right, they got 7 wins here. I'm assuming 10 wins. Is that going to be enough? Not to win your division. Tampa could end up on the road in Dallas or New York for the playoffs. Philadelphia for the playoffs. On the road. Yeah, McLevin.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be heavy favorites if they get one of those teams.
Will they?
Yeah, good question.
I have no idea right now.
I mean, they barely beat the Giants. I like the Bears. Imagine what are they, like 5-5 now? With Brady, they'd be
I don't want to go down this road, Andy. This is stupid. I don't want to do this. I mean, I'm dealing with something that's happening now.
But you said Bruce Arians might be the wrong style. That's why I was thinking.
But he's there. You can change the style. He's not.
Can you?
Yes, of course you can.
I feel like Arians is so set in his way. We saw it last night. He just wouldn't. He just kept going downfield.
Yeah, but I'm not into revisionist history. Maybe he should have stayed with the Patriots. I mean, he's there in Tampa. Now what do you do? Now, how do you make this better? And I know it's week to week, prime time, standalone game. We do this. We dissect it even more. I just don't know if Tom Brady is capable of being a consistent deep ball passer. He has more interceptions now at this stage than he did all of last year. That's concerning. Now, I know it's a new team, getting used to Gronk and Antonio Brown in there. I get all of those things, but this is Brady, and the expectation levels should be high.